know what we should do, though? We should look at this menu.
Okay.
We're here at Michael Jordan's, the
Yes.
steakhouse, and we're here for dinner, so there can be nothing
Yes.
better than talking food.
I know.
It's always a good conversation
Idea.
starter.
Always a good idea.
All right, so when you travel the world, are there particular places that you just can't wait to eat?
I love sushi. That's one of the biggest things ever.
But we never go to Japan.
I know. I'd love to one day, actually. Like when I go to Hong Kong, I have a lot of sushi. But I can't have it during the tournament, though, because it's just too much carbs.
Yeah.
And if I binged into this, I don't stop. So that's, and then, like everyone goes like, oh, you cheat meal sushi, that's healthy. I was like, no, believe me, I know how to make it fattening. I know how to, get this
So
bad.
sushi's at the top of the list.
Sushi's my best, yeah. I mean, of course, I love like desserts. I've always thought the end of my life is gonna be either one of those two things. Overdose whipped cream or overdose Nutella, or I don't know, overdose squash maybe. No, but yeah, I love sweets too. It's one of my weaknesses, and I only have it once a week, once or twice maximum.
Okay.
So there's always something to look forward for the end of the week or the weekend, and
Trying to think of where the best sweet capital is. So if you go to, is it
I
chocolates?
make my own thing.
Oh,
I like chocolate as well, but I make my own thing. I get my whole wheat wrap. I put peanut butter, I put honey, I put shredded coconut, I put cinnamon, I put the banana, and then I roll it, and I still cut it down into pieces as if it's sushi.
little sushi.
So I still go back to the the idea.
That's great.
That's one of my best things. Of course, I can add some whipped cream as well.
So this is a traditional American steakhouse.
Yes.
So they'll be obviously big on steaks,
Yes.
but also a lot of fish and shellfish. And these meals here are hearty, and
Yes.
we would say rib sticking.
Nice.
So
Rib
there
stick,
are a lot
okay.
of things here
You
that
go in there and they stay there.
they stay there. That's right.
Okay.
We're sitting here in the middle of the summer, and yet in 6 months or so we'll be back for the J.P. Morgan Tournament of Champions right across here, right across the Grand Concourse in Grand Central, and the tournament, as we all well know, takes place in that room,
Right.
which used to be the waiting room for when this was a transcontinental terminal. All the passengers would wait in that room. So it had a function. It was a real waiting area, and they took that whole infrastructure out about 15 years or 20 years ago, and that's how we can put the tournament in there. But it's kind of nice to come when it's also not the tournament.
I know. It has. I mean, I was really disappointed not to be able to play this year.
So were we. But
yeah, but I know, like, I've done everything, and I really pushed myself hard in the World Open, and I played two tournaments and a half, because not 3 tournaments basically, because I lost in the third one in Zurich. My body just totally broke down as well, but I know that I pushed myself. As I was telling you earlier, I know that I was, that was the best I can do, and I was coming out of every time out of the court, literally on my hand, out of breath. I have, I've cleaned all the dust on the court, made sure everything, like, the court is 100% clear. I went to every corner in the court. I did,
this is
I
all
gave more
this is
than
all
100%.
concerned to make sure you don't slip or you don't.
No. It's just me not just thinking, I don't want to slacken. I just always want to give 100%. So I know that this season has been hard, and I could have never gave more than that. And that's why I was I was kind of disappointed, but not, but there wasn't much I could do not playing the Tournament of Champions this year. I was on the first day. Actually, I was in the. I was on the surgery on the first day when the tournament started. I was on the surgery. That was exactly on the 14th of January, and I was on the 15th of January. I started the tournament.
We were lucky to get you to come visit the finals.
That was nice.
That
was nice.
I love
that.
Spirit.
It was good. But I was like at some point when I was sitting watching an amazing match between Shorbagy and Nick, who are like amazing athletes, and I loved that match. I was kind of moving my body, like my body was like going like with every shot they're hitting, and I was kind of reacting. And at some point I was like, what am I doing here in the passenger seat? Should be driving,
Well, tell me a little bit about those two guys. So Nick Matthew, about to turn 35, and is back at number 2 in the world. Solid season the last season.
Yes.
And Mohamed El Shorbagy, who's number 1, turning 23, I believe. So where we used to think you were the youngster,
he gets younger, this guy.
Time has moved on.
He doesn't get older.
He's young. Yeah. What's different about playing both of those guys?
Of course, everyone has a different game plan that I have to prepare. Definitely. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of things in common that I have to still do. In my mind, like as a preparation, as a mental preparation, and on court as a game plan. There's things that are in common, and there's things that's different. I can't do certain things with Nick, and still do it with and with Muhammad. Like you have
Right.
to. There's things that you can't do with Muhammad, things that you can't do with Nick, and things that you can do with Nick can't do with Muhammad. So they're different, but it's honestly, you would really think that I'm not like really giving out what I'm thinking, whatever. But honestly, I don't know how to really break it down exactly, and know how to break down each game plan that I go on and play with Nick and Muhammad. But I know how to, I know a certain game plan that I have in my mind when I go in there. I try to be as spontaneous as I can. There's basics which every squash player use, and the differences between one squash player and another, in my opinion, is just basically how fast or how better you can apply this basics on the other player, and how hard and how long you can stay doing it with the same kind of precision from the first point to the last point, and same kind of accuracy and sharpness. But I mean, it gets to the point. It gets to a certain time in the game, within the 90 minutes or 60 minutes or whatever, that you have to do something different. You can't keep doing the basics, because the basics will end at some point, because you're both basically doing the basics, and you're both have been training very hard, and you both have been killing yourself on court and off court, and you both have been preparing, and you both wanted it as bad as each other. So yeah, at some point you have to do something different, and that's when the spontaneity comes out.
My understanding is you did something quite different when you played Shorbagy in the 2014 World Open final.
Yes.
This epic 5-game match that you came back to win. You took the pace off the ball.
He was doing that to me. I had to do that to him too. I mean, you have to do everything. I mean, against the top class player like Shorbagy, you have to do all different kind of things. You have to use all the plans that you have. You have to bring out all your squash. Yeah, it takes so much out of me to be able to beat him, or beat Nick, or beat Greg, or beat Shaban, or any of these amazing top 10 players, or James, or and everyone has his strength game and his strength points, which if he pulled you in, you're in a deep trouble. Deep trouble. So you always have to watch out from that, and just make sure that you apply the game plan that you want to, not the game plan that they want to.
Right.
Is
Is there a mentor that stands out for you?
Yeah, I take things from everyone. Like I'm sitting with you, I take things from you. I'm sitting with my dad, I take things from my dad. I take with my mom, I take things from my mom. Everyone I meet, I know that he has something special about him, and that's what makes him who he is. So I always just trying to explore this. I always enjoy like intellectual conversations, deep conversations, meaningful conversations, productive conversations. I like getting deep into everyone's head, and trying to understand what's he all about, what does he think, what's his perspective about life, and how does he go on about his day and his career. And I'm really intrigued about this, and everyone I've learned a lot from so many people, and people you would never imagine. I've learned a lot from kids. I have my own academy back home. I learned a lot from kids. Right. You would ask them questions, and their answers would be totally outside the box, things that you would never ever imagine that they would get back at you with. Never. And it kind of sparks a light in your head, and you're like, oh, why? Maybe I can do it that way. Maybe I can think and do it that way. And there's a lot of things that they can be as simple as whatever, but you're overlooking them. So
right. I think my experience is a lot of squash players. You have to protect yourself. So during a tournament week, you have to eat right, you have to sleep right, you have to have physio correct, you have to do your practice correct. But I think sometimes there's a box mentality, and many squash players go to the hotel, go to the practice venue, go to the hotel, go to the practice venue. Can you get out of that a little bit during the tournament week, or is that still what you got to do to be ready?
I'm a very I don't know how to explain it, but I'm just someone else when I'm during the tournaments or the days building up to the tournament. I want everything to be perfect to the extent that I don't know to which extent. I don't want to, talk about this too much so the people wouldn't think that I'm that crazy. But I want everything to be that perfect, Just trying to, And at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of perfection. So I don't know how does that work.
But if you have an appointment for massage or physio at 10, you want it to be at 10. You want to get there in time.
Definitely. I want everything to be like the way I want them to be. I want to be in control, basically.
Right.
I want to be in control of my day. During training times, if I'm playing with someone and he canceled, last minute or something, I'll be a bit disappointed, but I wouldn't be as disappointed as if a massage or a physio, I was late for a massage or a physio during the tournament time, or, I didn't have lunch at that time, and that happens a lot. I want to have lunch, like the room service, I asked for a room service and they come like 30 minutes late or 20 minutes late, or even 10 minutes late. I go like so crazy, and I feel that everything is like, it's just gone bad now, it's gone wrong, and the whole structure of the day is gonna change. And yeah, that's why I'm not the greatest guy to share a room with when I'm like on the tour. That's why I just have my own room, I stay in my own room. I want everything to be the way I want them. And I'm not the easiest guy. Even in relationships, in my life, when I was in relationships, it was, I can imagine how hard this must have been for them,
Right.
The same texts have to be the same, the same energy, the same everything. Because I'm a Libra, right? So I would be pretty much the same with someone who would be having a competition or would be having an important meeting in their career or something. If I'm with someone like in a relationship or something, I would still, bear how much they want things to be. Like if they want things to be in a certain way, if they want, I will totally understand. I will totally go with it. So I'm always expecting the same from someone when I'm with them.
Mm-hmm.
During like tournament times,
Right.
during like those like very fragile, sensitive times. I'm very it's very crucial for me. I want everything to just be the same. That's why I stay away from a lot of my friends, a lot of my family. I don't talk to my family too much. I rarely talk to my family. My mom, sometimes I talk to her, to be honest, on the phone. My dad sometimes. But that's about it.
What is it like when you play with your peers on the world teams? When you play against England and France and and Australia, is it a different feeling for you to join with your fellow players as a team?
I mean, it's very nerve-wracking because you have a lot of pressure on you, and at the same time, you want to win, and we're not used to that. We're not used to depending on each other.
Right.
We don't have this kind of mentality, but I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. Like every 2 years when we play the world teams, I really like the fact that we all have the same uniform. We're all like wearing the same thing. We're all going in there as a team. It just takes out this selfishness out of us, and you can't every any player in any individual sport, if he told you that he's not selfish to an extent when he plays, he is 100% lying. Because we're on court, I'm always trying to push this part, which I like, this kind of personality which I have on court is not being selfish, but it's like I want to win. That's what I do. That's my job, and you have to really be hard on yourself. You can't really be emotional on court, which I have done a lot before. I've been emotional a lot before, because that's part of how I am anyways. But I've always, and that's how squash changed me in a big way and changed my character.
Made you more emotional?
No, it made me know how, in a great extent, know how, when to be emotional, when not to be emotional. And I still fail miserably in this, but I try to stay as wise as I can or whatever. But it's I'm very I'm very personal when I'm around people, or when I play. I have this connection with the four corners that I just feel that I just love it so much that I really I want to win, basically, like any player. And
so what do you think about the four corners? What does that mean?
For me, it's just this relationship. I've been injured so many times in my life, and I've played on my own so many times in my life, and I've kind of built this relationship with every corner on the court. And sometimes I'll go on court and I would start off with trying to hit a drop shot or something, and I just don't feel it. I don't feel the distance between me and the corner, and
Okay.
that's not the best day, and I have to dig in to get it there. And there are just days I just go in there, I just feel that it's talking to me or something. It's easy to go in there, and the more I'm on court, the more I'm in the momentum, the more that I feel that I can do more stuff on court.
there's an expression, playing in the zone. People talk about
Yes.
when an athlete is in the zone.
Yes.
And when the athlete's in the zone, everything becomes slow, everything becomes easier.
Yes.
Do you feel like you have different peaks? Sometimes you can
Yes.
play
At
at
different-
an even higher peak?
It's different gears. Like you're going in the first gear, you're going in the second gear, and once you get into the fourth or the fifth gear, that means that you totally forget about the outer world and you're so into it, and all what you think about is just the ball and the racket, and at the same time you would want to manage everything around you, the crowd, the atmosphere, the energy, other player, you're playing with someone on court and you still have to watch out for that. And that's how interesting, the game is. There's so much to do on court. There's so many things. It's like sitting in an office, for 24 hours non-stop, like thinking, and trying to figure out so many equations, basically. I like, when I play Nick or Shourbagi, I like seeing this. How do you say this? This spark in their eyes that we're taking you down. There's something about it which gets you going. Which makes you feel that there's a meaning to this world.